Greetings and welcome to my channel. This is Sorcerer Tal. You can also find me on Facebook in the Sorcerers Guild. Today, we're actually going on a walk through my neighborhood. There's going to be a better area of it later, but in some of my videos when I talk about the fairies, I mention rose bushes or brambles. And now this is a perfect example of a bramble. See this giant overgrown wild rose bush here with all the thorns, but it's also got pretty flowers and it smells good, and there's literally a lot of hidden structure, places where a fairy could hide. Like I said, I talk about brambles and wild thorns in a lot of my videos. This is what I'm talking about. This is where you would come to leave the milk and honey, things like that. Okay, so we're gonna wander on here a little bit just because this is a cool, nice area. Actually, speaking of wild rose bushes, they're cutting down an area through here. I didn't cut this myself. That wouldn't be a very advisable thing to do. I rescued it from somewhere where the city workers, I guess, are cutting down a giant wild rose bush, and I rescued this large staff. Okay, so we're gonna keep going along here for a bit. Very pretty area. Stay close, Cootie. There's my dog, Cootie. She's supposed to be on a leash, but I didn't expect many people to be around, so she isn't right now. Fortunately, she didn't give that person on their bike any trouble. Okay, so we're going to continue on just a little bit farther. Like I said, it's just because it's a nice area through here. Real pretty. Sun's getting ready to come down. It's one of the few garden or farm areas left in my hometown. Is this little area we're going to come up to here in a bit. Hold on, we have to put my dog on a leash. Is a perfect example of what I'm talking about when I talk about brambles. You got the wild overgrown rose bushes here. This one's even got a willow tree in the middle of it. That's even better. I actually do a lot of fairy work here when I'm leaving offerings. This is one of the places that I will go. You got the thorns and the thick branches to protect, but you've also got the pretty flowers from the wild roses. There's a few of them left. Here's a nice pretty one. And then you've also got, you know, the rose hips. But you've got pretty smells, pretty sights. But you've also got structure and things that can protect the fairies metaphorically. So this is exactly the kind of area that you're looking for. Fortunately, it's a kind of popular area, so if you do leave offerings in places like this, you want to leave them deep in so people don't find them and mistakenly take them from the fairies, because that will get that person a lot of bad luck in the end. Okay, so we're just gonna film some more of this. It's real pretty right through here. It's amazing how much wild rose bush there is right through here. Like I said, I leave a lot of my offerings here. That might be why it's doing so well. There's just a lot of it anymore over the years. Just keeps growing and growing. Massive wild rose bush grow up here. And there's that staff that I found in the other wild rose bush. Like I said, these kind of things are great, but you don't want to be harvesting them directly from the bush without permission. This, I guess the city workers must have cut down the bush, but it was laying in there. I salvaged it. I didn't take it. I didn't cut the bush myself. I don't recommend that kind of doing that. If anywhere you have these kind of brambles where you suspect a fairy might be living, if you do, at least ask permission, leave offerings, and make sure you actually get an answer. Don't just believe an answer at yourself. That's one thing you need to remember. Fairies are actually independent, self-willed beings. Yeah, they're not like a tulpa or like, you know, a lot of your modern day gods, quote unquote gods. You can't just believe them into doing what you want them to. They are independent. Okay, so we're past the bramble bush. That's all I've really got to say. Thank you once again for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take the opportunity to do so now. Until next time, bright blessings and an interesting fate. This has been Sorcerer Tal.